Hello, I am Remo Yes Man, and today I received some kinda sad news, and I don't normally cover gaming news because every big YouTuber and their fucking mom covers the gaming news, but this one hits kinda close to home. Sony Entertainment is in talks to buy out the parent company of FromSoftware, which would essentially give them control of the Dark Souls series, the Elden Ring series, the Sekiro series, the Armored Core series, and the anime and manga associated with those IPs. And I know there's gonna be some dipshits out there like, oh, who gives a fuck about the anime and the manga? Motherfucker, I do. I actually have a second YouTube channel. I actually have a third YouTube channel, but on my other YouTube channel, we actually do audiobook reads of the Bloodborne comics and the Dark Souls comics. So I can't speak for the anime TV series. I don't know if that's out, but as far as the comics go, there's actually a lot of people that engage with that shit. Now, first of all, let me just start by saying, fuck.
Oh, nigga. No. 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 Nigga.
I've actually been a Sony pony since I was a kid, but I'm not fucking stupid. Sony is not a good company, but don't get me wrong, just because Sony's not a good company doesn't mean Sony isn't a very corporate savvy and profitable company. Sony is extremely profitable. Sony even came out positive after they took that $400 million hit on Concord. Now, a lot of that was large part due to the collusion that Sony did with the Chinese developer of Black Myth Wukong, but that's another story for another time. Sony being in talks to buy the parent company of FromSoftware is horrible news. Kadokawa is the parent company of FromSoft. Kadokawa is a Japanese media conglomerate that was created as a result of a merger between the original Kadokawa and the Dwango Corp in October 1st of 2014. So obviously them being the parent company of FromSoft means they don't just own FromSoft, they own a lot of other shit. Kadokawa also owns publications, several media groups, visual and film studios, and interactive gaming studios, which includes FromSoft. Now, which of these do you think is the most profitable in Kadokawa's resume? Now, obviously FromSoftware is the golden goose here, and I would imagine if Sony managed to acquire the parent company of FromSoft, that being Kadokawa, they would probably just sell off a bunch of these assets. And honestly guys, I have nothing against Sony personally, it's just their business practices that I can't stand. Because if Sony does acquire FromSoftware, most likely you'll never receive another FromSoft game on the Xbox ecosystem ever again. Like, Xbox isn't even a competitor, yet Sony is sitting there still trying to strangle Xbox. Xbox is literally standing there with their hand out telling Sony you win, but Sony is still spitting in their faces like fuck you. And the most pathetic part about all of this is Xbox is still trying to work with Sony. And I know a lot of people may not care about this stuff, but I care, because although I may be a Sony pony and I may do the vast majority of my gaming on the PlayStation ecosystem, I actually do play on Xbox and on PC. In fact, the footage that you're seeing on screen is Elden Ring footage from the Xbox Series S. So if Sony does manage to acquire FromSoft, you will never see another FromSoft game on the Xbox ecosystem ever again. And hell, they might even stop selling the games that are already on the Xbox digital storefront, so you won't even have access to the older FromSoft games on the Xbox ecosystem. And I know a lot of my PC users may think you'll come out of this unscathed, but think about it. If you live in a territory where you don't have access to Sony games because of their ridiculous PSN requirements, all of a sudden you can't play FromSoftware games anymore. And if you do live in a territory where you do have access to PSN, all of a sudden to play any future FromSoft titles, you now are required to log into the PlayStation Network. And hell, Sony might retroactively go back and update all FromSoft's old games on the PC, so they now require a PlayStation Network account in order to access those single player games. And then the cherry on top of all that for all of my PC users is when the new FromSoft games do release, it's likely going to be exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem for 6 months or a year before it even gets ported to the PC. And like I said, I've been a Sony pony since I was a kid. I primarily play all my games on the PlayStation ecosystem, but that's mostly because of the sunk cost fallacy. And I've been getting disillusioned with PlayStation in recent years as I've been getting older. And then on top of all that, since Xbox is not competing, Sony is getting more and more draconian with their business practices. I keep telling myself that instead of buying the next PlayStation console that comes out, I'm just gonna build a PC, because you have to think, the PlayStation 5 Pro just came out and that thing cost about $700 at base, and it does not come with a disc drive. So if you do want the disc drive, you're gonna pay about an extra $100 for that. So that's $800 plus tax and shit. You're gonna pay almost $900 when everything's all said and done. At that point, you might as well be building a gaming PC. And don't get me wrong, I already do have a PC, but I mostly use it for video editing and research and shit like that. So I figure if I start ordering PC parts now, little by little over the course of several months into the PS6 releases, by the time the PS6 does come out at an absurd launch price of $999.99, I will have already accumulated enough PC parts in order to build a good gaming PC. And since I did it little by little over the course of time, my pockets won't be hurting. It won't be like I have to spend a month's rent on a goddamn gaming console, you know? Because listen, Sony has lost their fucking minds, and Xbox is sucking dick to lockjaw, not even trying to compete with Sony. In fact, doing the exact opposite and trying to befriend Sony, even though Sony is spitting in their faces. And as a result of that, Sony is able to set their prices and charge whatever they want without having to be too competitive with Xbox, and that fucks up the whole gaming industry. So I pray that Sony is not able to buy the parent company of FromSoft, because that would make me really sad. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Thank you guys for listening. This is Remo Yes Man signing out. Peace.